Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
All right, welcome aboard Elevating with Marcia Hawkins here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and a happy July 4th holiday weekend to everyone out there. We are presented by myhealth-quotes.com and also by Elevated Media, ESQ.com. Here's the host, Marcia Hawkins. Welcome aboard.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I can't believe it's going to be 4th of July Saturday. Blows my mind. I just don't know where 2020 went, but it can exit quickly, in my opinion. Yeah, so here we are. We're on the cusp of the 4th of July weekend. So, yeah, welcome aboard. We're excited about the show today, and we got lots to talk about.
Yeah, we sure do. And obviously, you emanate from New England. Of course, we're heard worldwide, but Cam Newton, big news. And Tom Brady again. Looks like his nose is out of sort, which I get. He thought Stidham would be, a slow comer on and maybe protect his legacy for a while. But, boy, they went right to the top. And if he's healthy, look out for Cam Newton, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Got a news alert the other night that the Patriots had signed him to a one-year deal. Incentive, loaded with incentives, but that's okay. Got chills when I watched the Cam Newton video that he uploaded to YouTube yesterday. That was, pretty exciting. Very excited when he was at Carolina. Thanked the organization up and down. And really enjoyed his time at Carolina. In fact, that's something I should research a little bit, because I wasn't, to be honest, a huge Cam Newton fan when he was with Carolina. The Superman thing kind of irritated me a little bit. But what I've learned about him over the last couple of days, I'm quite impressed from his philanthropy work that he does. And I think Bill Belichick, much like what he did with Randy Moss and Josh Gordon, which, he's had some issues there, but he does have the ability to lay the law down and create the atmosphere and allow them to adapt into the culture, which is so prominent within Patriots organization.
Yeah, it's true. Corey Dillon, there's many others. We'll get into that. Maybe on the other side, we'll venture into that as well. But also a lot of good topics today, including what athletes do with their money, what athletes do to insure themselves, what do athletes do when the song and the record finally stops and the career ends. We come back. It's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, presented by myhealth-quotes.com on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
Tired of the same old hat? CoverageGear.com is the top destination to find the hats and gear you need to represent your favorite pro teams and players. Head to CoverageGear.com with the promo code RADIO and grab a cap with the iconic jersey number of the all-time greats and current stars from the NBA, NFL, MLB, and more. These classic hats come in the font and style of the Superstars team. So with the number 30 from Golden State, number 2 from the Yankees, number 23 from the Bulls, or a number 12 from the Packers, CoverageGear.com will help you honor the legends of yesterday and today. Check out our collection of dad hats, trucker caps, beanies, stickers, and more. Use promo code RADIO and get 20% off. That's promo code RADIO at CoverageGear.com. CoverageGear.com. We've got you covered.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men and women to improve their sexual performance. And now for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get nearly 100. There's no need to pay expensive prices for Viagra or Cialis. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Change your life for the better and have fun. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
800-709-4409. 800-709-4409. 800-709-4409. That's 800-709-4409.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents, which means you're going to start telling your kids to clean up before the cleaning lady comes. Doesn't make sense, but you're the parent and they're the kids. You're going to start telling them that now, too. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. And there's your opening to remind them who pays the bills around here. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities. Or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30.
Welcome back, Holiday Weekend Edition. It's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, Sirius XM 211, the Dan Patrick Station. All right, let's follow up on that, though. You made a quick point. I want to get into the body of what you want to talk about, but you made a really good point. Belichick. Cam Newton's got to bury the Superman persona. Bill Belichick's a master stroke at getting these guys to buy in. Look, Cam, in 2016, you came close to getting a Super Bowl ring. You want the real deal? Do it my way. That's the magic of Bill Belichick. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, it's the magic of Bill Belichick, but it's actually more than that.
All right, let's hear.
Well, he's got the resume to prove it. So, when you can back it up with the Super Bowl rings, and if a player comes to New England, there's a culture. Tom Brady reinforced that culture. Tom Brady lived, breathed, and ate the culture of the New England Patriots. And I think he probably had a little bit to do with that. He's very disciplined. We've talked about that on previous shows. So, Corey Dillon, Josh Gordon, I think the guy's just phenomenal. But, if there's addiction issues or, emotional issues or anger issues, and, and I talk about this all the time in my private life, ego. If you're really leading with an ego on the field or in anything, any aspect of your life, it can trip a lot of people up. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Cam Newton does with it. But my hunch is he got a cold glass of water in the face when things fell apart with Carolina. So I think he's ready. I think he's been humbled a little bit, and I think he's matured a little bit. So I think he's going to be okay under Belichick. He didn't have the issues that, say, a Josh Gordon had. Randy Moss, I mean, I remember when the Patriots signed him thinking there is just no way this guy is going to be able to tap his ego down. And oh man, could I have been more wrong? Yeah. Randy Moss to this day is probably one of my favorite New England Patriots players. I just think Randy Moss is just incredible. So I'm very excited to see what Cam Newton can do. You're starting to see all over social media just how much it's blowing up. It's so exciting. Just hope we have a season. Yeah.
All right, one more, and then we'll get into it. But I got to ask you the question now: what's more likely? What's more likely? Brady wins a Super Bowl with Tampa, or the Patriots win a 7th Super Bowl with Cam Newton? And that'll drive Brady crazy. And I don't mean to keep stirring that pot. What's more likely in your opinion? Be honest.
I don't see the Bucs going to the Super Bowl. I really don't. nobody is a bigger fan of Tom Brady than I am. And I don't think it's going to be Tom Brady's, so-called fault that they don't go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. I could be wrong. I don't know. I get a feeling. I remember prior to the 2 Super Bowls where we played the Giants, I hosted a party. And I knew before the party even got going, we weren't going to win. It's a hunch. I've talked about this on the program before. I have a little bit of intuition that I always go with. And I knew we were going to lose both those games for some reason. I knew. In Atlanta, when we played Atlanta, I remember everyone leaving the party going, it's over. And I remember my daughter texting me saying, it's over, Mom. We're not going to win. The Patriots are going to lose to Atlanta. Just, call it a night. I know you're the eternal optimist, but I never gave up on I knew it was Tom Brady. He was going to do it. I just don't get that feeling. And I'll tell you why. It goes back to what I said earlier about Cam Newton. There's a culture in New England. People talk say the word dynasty, and they talk about all the controversy surrounding the Patriots, but there's a culture there. And I'm just not sure that he's going to have the time to develop the culture with the Bucs in the first year. Age is a factor with him. So do I think he could play a couple more years? Absolutely. But I just think the synergy of a team. A lot of times when we've lost players in the off season to trades or whatever, retirement, you have to get in there. And if the synergy's off, you can even tell sometimes in the first couple of games, it does take I remember Pedro Martinez when he would be on the mound, it always took him a couple innings to get into his groove. Same thing. I don't know. He's in a new town. He's with a new team. He's with a new organization, new coaches, new everything. So and of course, the elephant in the room is the COVID and, possibly not having fans in the stands. So we're just really in uncharted waters with that. So my hunch is that, I'm kind of sad about it, to be honest. I really hope that he does well. I'm rooting for Tom Brady. I really, really am. But I just don't feel it this year. I just don't for him.
Yeah, a lot of people say, he's there and the Tampa hosts the Super Bowl this year. It's going to be in Tampa, St. Pete, blah, blah, blah. And that's great for the media. But the Patriots just got 11 years younger at quarterback. Mm-hmm. And, he's a physical specimen. Cam Newton's the real deal. I mean, if he's healthy, look out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I was pretty moved by his YouTube video. Actually, my son who lives in Hawaii had sent me a message and said, you've got to watch the Cam Newton video. It'll give you chills. And it did. And, he was probably the most humbled that I've seen him in an interview. It was just him talking, working out on the treadmill. And, I love the discipline of an athlete. They just have such, most of them do. Some of them don't. And that's why they don't make it very far. But watching him, listening to him, and really, I love when a player doesn't take a swipe at their previous team. He probably had a little reason to have his, to be upset, that he was, released. And I could see why he might want to take a couple swipes, but he didn't. He rose above that, which showed me that he's kind of started to buy into the culture. And yeah, I'm excited for him. I am. I'm glad that the Patriots gave him a chance. And, they gave him a 1-year deal, which I think really puts the handwriting on the wall for him. You've got a year to prove to us that you're our guy. And I admit I felt a little bad for Stidman, maybe getting passed over. I thought he was going to be our guy. So I'm excited. I really am. I'm very excited. But yeah, it's not that I don't think Tom Brady is going to play at 100%. I don't want to give that impression because that's not really where I was going with that. Yeah. But I do believe that it's more than that. It's the coaching. He's in a completely different environment. And I do think it's going to take a few years to get the synergy there. I mean, he walked on that field after Drew Bledsoe got hurt. And, the dynamics, it was already, the culture had already been bred into him with the Patriots because he had been there for a while. So it was easy to step on the field and make the magic happen like he did. As you know, I was at that Super Bowl when he won down in New Orleans. And again, it goes back. I get these really weird hunches, and I just knew we were going to win. Yeah. I just felt it. So I don't think that Tom Brady it's not because of Tom Brady, but I think it will take a few years for things to materialize in Tampa. But oh my gosh, can you imagine if it came down to a Patriots Tampa Bay Super Bowl? I would probably need medication.
Tell you what, it'd be absolutely huge. Hey, we're presented by Elevating with Marcia Hawkins by myhealth-quotes.com, elevatedmediaesq.com, a marketing company that just does amazing things. You got so many irons in the fire, it blows my mind. But we kind of want to tease the next segment in the next couple of minutes here, but I think it's important to note that we're talking about football players, talking about professional athletes. You mentioned Pedro. So many guys have just been so poor with managing their money, managing their health, and that's an area of your expertise. But boy, professional athletes, the case studies are just so blatantly obvious that they don't plan for the future, including it comes to their insurances, watching their finances. That routine ends when the playing days are over. We're going to get into that more, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am a jack of all trades, but it's always because one area of expertise for me always threads into another. And so we are going to talk about that, and we want to delve into that a little bit because I do feel bad. You read about, people who have had, hugely successful careers, and then they turn around and you find out 5 years later they're down and out, really struggling. And it does happen a lot in the pro athlete arena. And so, we're going to delve into that and talk a little bit about that more when we come back. Yeah,
the entertainment industry too, right? I mean, and throughout all walks of life, really. But those cases tend to get illuminated more.
Well, yeah, because you have it with athletes, it tends to be a much shorter career. So they get in, they start making these, huge amounts of money. They buy, lavish houses and cars, and they, take care of their families. And then all of a sudden they're released, they have 5 games and they haven't been able to catch a ball and get into the end zone. And boom, they're released by their respective team and nobody picks them up. And all of a sudden they're like, what? And they don't plan. And so, And it does affect all walks of life. But we are going to delve into that on the other side.
All right. We look forward to that. And again, we're presented by myhealth-quotes.com, elevatedmediaesq.com as well. So check those out and you can dial them up on the web. Also, if you're traveling this weekend, travel safe. It is July 4th weekend. Don't drink and drive. And we want you to be around each and every week for Elevating with Marcia Hawkins. So we look forward to that again, July 4th. Plus, we'll get into some of the ideas of, travel and some lifestyle news as we take you right up until the top of the hour. Presented by myhealth-quotes.com. It's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins on Sirius XM 211, the American Forces Radio Network, all part of the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. We'll come back on the other side.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health care for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health care for you and your family immediately and save as much as 50% off your current monthly health care payments. Our plans are perfect for people that are self-employed, can't afford health benefits where they work, or just want to pay less for their current health care. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. We even offer some of the new Christian faith-based health health benefits. Save up to 50% on your family's health care. Make a free quick call now. There are no contracts, and we give you a 10-day money-back trial period. Call Provision Enrollment right now for your risk-free, guaranteed health insurance quote starting at $6 a day.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, Sports Byline Broadcast Network, Sirius XM 211, myhealth-quotes.com. Also, you can see Marcia's website, elevatedmediaesq.com. Let me give you that again, elevatedmediaesq.com. Well, professional athletes, human beings, all walks of life, financial planning, insurances. I mean, these are areas that you like to delve into. And, we've talked a lot about athletes, and they're a good case study for the point you want to get across. But you're a planner.
I am a planner. So yeah, at myhealth-quotes.com, we do life and health insurance. And I have been very surprised lately how many young athletes do pass away. And, as we talked on the previous segment about how many of them just never plan for the future, and they end up, in dire straits after they leave the pro athletic life. And so, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we are going to talk about life insurance. We did delve into health insurance last week. We're going to talk a little bit about life insurance. It's like I go on social media and it seems almost at least once a week, if not more, I see a GoFundMe being started for somebody who's passed away. Let's be realistic. None of us are getting out of this alive. None of us. And yet, and especially when it's somebody who's young, you never expect that. But things do happen, and it seems like, to me anyways, it feels like with a high degree of regularity, I am seeing quite a few GoFundMes. I mean, that's kind of been, I think, the way people are affording their burial. So with life insurance, it's really a good idea. It's so economical to purchase final expense insurance and take care of that. You can kind of look at it one way, you're almost like financing it, but the good news is on final expense, it's always cheaper to buy it when you're younger and you're healthy. Once you have been diagnosed with a disease or chronic or critical illness, you are going to have to go guaranteed issue. It becomes very expensive. Obviously, smoking in some cases can drive the cost up. And again, your age, you're always going to want to purchase life insurance when you're younger. It's cheaper. If you purchase whole life insurance for final expense, no matter what, if you do a paid up premium at age 65, that money will be there for your loved ones when the time comes and they have to arrange for your services, and everything would be taken care of. So it is a really, really good idea to plan ahead. And it does bother me. I do see a lot of young athletes passing away very, very young. Not to say that they're all in dire straits. That's obviously not what I'm saying. But you do see a lot of athletes. I can remember, and I don't remember the name of the New England Patriot player, but ended up in our hometown, my hometown.
Dave Meggett.
It was Dave Meggett. Okay, I couldn't remember who it was. And I think he had some, I don't know what happened, but how he ended up in my hometown. But yeah, it was odd. Yeah. But that was pre-social media, so you didn't hear a lot about it. But with social media, obviously, you hear so much more about players. Whether or not it's concussion related, whether it's, bad choice related, drug addiction, alcohol abuse, medications, whatever, just not taking care of themselves sometimes, that they end up in that type of situation. So, yeah, so I'm really trying to be an educator. It's not so much that I'm into selling insurance, but my whole business, elevatedmediaesquire.com, elevatedmediaesq.com, that's our website. It's just amazing when you go in to talk to a business owner to provide services for them, whether I'm doing website development for them, podcasting, search engine optimization, business consulting. Invariably, I find out that they don't have, they're making a couple $100,000 a year up and upward. And they have nothing in place if they were to become disabled and not able to work. So what a lot of people don't realize is that if they've bought life insurance, and they do not have a living benefits rider, which living benefits basically means you don't have to die to exercise the right to utilize that insurance. So if you're diagnosed with, God forbid, a terminal disease, you can actually cash out a portion of that to help you with your living expenses, whether you need to pay your mortgage, your utilities. If you're the sole breadwinner and you've been sidelined and you're unable to work, those living benefits will step in and augment your income and help you out. So, and you don't even have to be terminally ill. You can be critically ill to also tap that out. It's a great benefit, and very few people know about it. Living benefits is something, whether you talk to me or you talk to anybody, make sure that any life insurance that you do purchase does have living benefits. Very, very important. And again, permanent insurance is way better than term. 90% of all term policies will never be cashed out. It's like throwing your money away. I highly recommend, when you're young, healthy, purchase your your life insurance, so that you will have that money there for you, whether it's for final expense, if you're the sole breadwinner, and you know that your 3 children would, suffer a lifestyle setback if, God forbid, something happened to you. You want to make sure that that mortgage is paid off, that your surviving spouse has, income to live off of, until, they, are obviously back on their feet again, they remarry, Social Security kicks in for the children, whatever it may be. You got to have a plan. And going back to, the pro athletic lifestyle, many of them are without a plan when they get out. I talked to, many of them for health insurance, and, they don't have life insurance either. So it's really important to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. Again, you never think about dying, but, how many times do you hear of somebody who's passed away and you see their GoFundMe funeral expense being played out on social media? Not to say that that's not a bad thing, but, it's really a wonderful thing you can do for your survivors, is to take care of that. So there's no questions about it. Putting a will together is so easy. I don't know why people don't do it, but they don't. People just never think about dying. And I get it. Nobody wants to think about it. But fact of the matter is, none of us are getting out of this alive. So it's just something I want people to be more mindful of, and really be thinking about it in terms of what that means for not only themselves, but for their loved ones and the people they may leave behind.
The living benefit, and we're talking with Marcia Hawkins, it's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, and it is presented by myhealth-quotes.com and elevatedmediaesq.com. A lot of your questions are answered on each of those 2 websites. But you mentioned about the living benefit. We know what happens when you die. Hopefully they pay the death benefit and your final expenses are covered. But you got to ask yourself, what if I live? What are the benefits if I live? And can you expand upon that a little bit? Because that's huge.
Absolutely. So let's say, I had a sister who passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease. Had she had, which she did have life insurance, but this is just an example. She had a life insurance policy that offered up living benefits. The minute she's diagnosed, you're able to cash out a percentage of those benefits. So you don't necessarily have to die. So let's say you had $250,000 and let's say you had a $300,000 policy, and your goal was that you would pay off your mortgage and there would be, $150,000 left over for the surviving spouse. you would be able to, in some cases, cash out, say, like a 30% on that. So you'd get about $100,000. So if you knew that you had, unfortunately, a year and a half left to live, you can cash out those living benefits upon diagnosis to help you. Very few people have that kind of money saved for that type of thing. So it's not all, but a good chunk of people out there, do not have money set aside in the case of terminal illness or critical illness. So it's very important. Living benefits is one of those things that very few people know about. And again, I don't consider myself someone who sells insurance. I consider myself an educator. I'm more about educating people on, the benefits, what they're purchasing, making sure they purchase the right plan so that you don't get into a situation where they didn't do underwriting on it and they find out that you had diabetes or something. They find out that your death was diabetic related, and then they deny the claim. Then where does that leave your surviving, beneficiaries without getting paid? So it's very important that you understand specifically what you're buying, what the benefits are, how it works, and whether or not you've purchased term insurance, permanent insurance. There's just a lot of unanswered questions that a lot of people, they buy. You ask them, what did you purchase? I have no idea. Well, you'll never purchase something without knowing, what you purchased when you go through myhealth-quotes.com.
All right, good stuff. We come back on the other side. Again, it's the holiday weekend. People are traveling, and don't look now. Fenway Park is not a sea of humanity, but there are human bodies. There are baseball players at Fenway Park this weekend, Yankee Stadium, Arlington, Anaheim, Los Angeles, Seattle, all the way down to Florida in some cases. So Major League Baseball is going to launch in 3 weeks, a 60-game season, or will they? And will the NBA, under a bubble, get started soon in Orlando at Disney? There are signs that may not be the case. In fact, the NBA has got an insurance policy. Their cost $150 million to finish the season under a bubble at Walt Disney in Orlando. So we'll get into that with Marcia and more, and a lot of lifestyle news as well. Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, myhealth-quotes.com, elevatedmediaesq.com on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
Summer's here, and it's time to enjoy the season. That means it's time to feed your yard with Scott's. It's easy to help your lawn stand up to summer's wear and tear, to keep it lush and green and help prevent those brown spots. It's time to get outside and enjoy every day. And Scott's has got you covered, because even though this summer may feel different, the best things never change. So let's get to it. It's time to enjoy your yard. Scott's. It's good out here.
Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy esports app for player props, and they are currently offering contests for CSGO, Dota, and League of Legends matches. Choose 5 over-under props for a player's stats to build your lineup. The riskier your choices, the more your selection is worth. They've already awarded over $1.2 million, so rack up the most points for your chance to share the prize pool. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or Play Store, or by visiting their website, thrivefantasy.com. Use a promo code AI at sign up today for an instant free $10 credit. That's Thrive Fantasy with the promo code AI. Come prop up now.
And now today's Ben Hogan golf tip. Want to hit your long irons crisper and longer? It's important to take the club back easy on your backswing. A longer iron requires more of a sweeping fluid motion than other irons. To achieve this, try to take it back low and slow for the first few feet. This deliberate takeaway helps promote a smooth, shallow swing that's perfectly on plane. You'll find that sweet spot more consistently, and you'll see added yards in your 4 through 6 irons. And now a word from Ben Hogan Golf.
When Ben Hogan founded his company in 1953, his mission was to make the finest golf equipment in the world. That remains our mission today. We forge every club we make to provide the feel and feedback investment cast clubs simply cannot provide. And our craftsmen micro-manufacture each club to your exacting specifications in our Fort Worth, Texas factory. You'll only find Ben Hogan golf equipment at benhogangolf.com. Visit us online. You'll be glad you did.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, They really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Marcia Hawkins, Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, Sports Byline Broadcast Network, Sirius XM 211, Dan Patrick. Did you know who Dan Patrick was before Dan Patrick?
Yes.
You did, really?
Absolutely.
You used to kind of travel with Chris Berman, didn't you? I mean, you bumped into him, right?
That's a funny story. Let me tell you.
Tell me the story, Chris Berman.
I fly out of Hartford. I go to Hawaii quite a bit. My son lives in Hawaii. And I do travel a lot. And it was shocking. Every single time I go out of Hartford, Chris Berman, ESPN, right in Bristol there. It felt like every single time I got on a plane, which was quite frequently, especially when I was flying back and forth to Indiana to take care of my sister. It was like we got to the point where we would get like, "Hey, how you doing?" Yeah, it's pretty funny. So, it was just really kind of a funny story. We always ended up on the same plane. I ended up on a plane with Gene Keady once. I remember getting off in Indiana.
The former Purdue coach.
I had no idea who Gene Keady was. Yeah. No idea. I didn't follow.
How'd you like a comb over on his hair?
Come on. Come on, man.
Yeah,
but it was fine. It was fine. He's super, super nice guy. He had just left. I think we had a segment from Hartford to, no, maybe it wasn't Hartford. Nashville, excuse me. It was Nashville to Indy. And I, got off the plane with him, was talking to him, walking down the ramp, and my nephews were out there and they were just like jumping up and down. They knew who he was. I had no idea. But he had mentioned on the plane that he had some type of, I don't remember what it was. It was like a roasting or something for Coach Calipari. So he had gone to that and he was flying back to Indiana. And so we were talking about that a little bit, but I didn't want to ask who he was because I knew he was somebody. But when I got off the plane, my nephews were just absolutely, and my brother-in-law, they were just about passing out. And I'm like, yeah, see you later, Gene. Nice speaking to you. And I walked away.
He was a legendary coach, though, Gene Keady.
Yeah. And so they were just like, they were flipping out. I can't believe you didn't get Coach Katie's autograph. And I'm like, I had no idea who I was sitting next to. So, I didn't know who he was, but I do know Dan Patrick.
Yeah. And Chris Berman. That's good. That's a good story, though. Yeah, he's quite a personality. All right, I want to get into a couple of other areas with it, but let's give a shout out to some people too. People are traveling this weekend and we're glad they're listening, by the way, here on however they are, either sportsbyline.com or iHeart, certainly on Sirius XM 211. But the vacation season, you know what? I read some good stuff though, Marcia. The people are traveling. I mean, people, they're asking you to be patient, but people are out and about and you're into lifestyle, you're into travel. And any advice for people? Just, I say, you know what, be a hole in the wind. If you want a vacation, find a way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, a couple of years ago, there was a horrible flu that had gone through my area. Mm-hmm. And, it's just good common sense. Do what you need to do. A lot of hand washing, social distance, do what you need to do. But I do believe, and I said it on our last week's show, that I think there's going to be a thaw. After the 4th of July, I think there'll be people getting together, mostly probably small, intimate gatherings. I don't think they're going to be large crowds. But I think once we get past the 4th and we see, what's going on, I do believe that the uptick in cases that we're seeing in the COVID strictly goes back to we're testing more. I noticed at my local Walmart the other day, I was heading over to Whole Foods and they set up a testing and there was probably 5 cars in line to do that. We didn't have that before. So obviously, I also read something kind of interesting the other day that there's a lot of false positives, which kind of concerned me a little bit. But I'm not here to get into COVID or any of that. Yeah. But I do believe that people are traveling. You and I have talked about how, I've gotten a lot of inquiries about resorts wanting to come on and do a podcast. So we've got quite a few lined up for that. So we're very excited about that. I want to be, the catalyst for, businesses trying to get back on. That's kind of my specialty is, teaching businesses how to pivot when something like this happens. Did I see a pandemic coming? No. But, a downturn in the economy or some type of natural disaster or some type of regulation like when Obamacare was instilled, that affected a lot of small business owners having to cover insurance for their employees where they didn't have to before. So anytime there's something that's going to affect 2/3 of the business owners, which is small business, that is my specialty. Not to say that we don't work with corporations, we do, but I really pride myself on being a problem solver. So if there's a way that I can help a business get the exposure that they need through a podcast or through video marketing or through, redesigning their website or managing their social media, something to that degree, but also being a listener and a sounding board when they're just so frustrated. Because a lot of times I go into these meetings, and if they tend to be of a certain age group, they always say the same thing. I just don't understand it. The social media thing. I don't know how to update my website. I don't know how to do all this. And I get that. So I really try to be like that employee that's not an employee that can kind of take over and help them manage the stuff so they can get back to managing their business. So we want to be a really good voice for them.
Yeah, and just to tease a little bit, we talked about the tourism industry, but the people that we're starting to partner up with, and you're starting to partner up with on your show, and you have an interesting comment. And they come on this program and they work with your agency, and again, it's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, the name of the program. What's really neat is it's like a controlled word of mouth, anymore, if someone goes to your restaurant and, maybe has not what maybe their expectations weren't met, and all of a sudden they can zap you on social media. It's kind of unfair. This way you can control truly what's said about your business. Not that you're gonna skew it to your favor. You're gonna tell the truth, but you can really help people control their message. And I think that's important. And we're gonna do it with some resorts, a law firm, perhaps a clothing company. I mean, it's interesting how many different segments that you're going to be hitting, but controlling what's said about you.
Yeah, one area that I love working with are auto dealers. I love working with assisted living centers. I've done a lot with them, medical and dental practices. I love doing that. And one of the reasons I love, like, say, auto dealers, for example, is that there's kind of a monkey see, monkey do mentality with marketing and advertising when it comes to the auto industry. It's so difficult. I've often talked to them about, why do you keep doing print? Like, who is reading these ads in the local newspaper? And that kind of demographic is aging. There was a time when, Mr. John Q. Public would always buy the same model car from the same car dealership. The internet, of course, changed all that. So I'm not going to get into all that because everyone understands that. But that said, auto dealers really have a tough time. Like, for example, they use a lot of third-party sites where they, someone goes on, they do a search for a vehicle, and then boom, they end up on a third-party site, and they now have placed even though you might want to go to one dealership, all of a sudden you realize the car you want, the vehicle you want, is available at a dealership 100 miles away. That dealership will be happy to take your money. So I like working for businesses that are challenged because they have to spend so much money on marketing because of the internet. So that's kind of my specialty. So I love that. So yeah, but the resorts, with getting people back in, whether it be for golf or recreation, just a family vacation, same thing. If there are travel dollars out there, your resort wants to be the one to capture those dollars. So we like to show them, through podcasting, how important it is that they control the message. You think about like an infomercial on TV, you have only so much time. It's very staged. You kind of stick to it. I find that with podcasting, and I know firsthand, it's from your heart. Like it allows you to really communicate with your potential client, customer, or patient with the passion that really is not going to come through a TV commercial or a radio commercial. It's really the business owner in most cases, or a marketing director that's going to come on that's really going to talk about the business, but you can hear the passion in their voice when they're talking about it. And that's really, I think, what podcasting allows a business to do, is to really relate to that potential client, customer, or patient.
Super fans.
Super fans. We love creating super fans for your business. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And, it's interesting, too, in the weeks ahead, too, tourism, little shout out next week to Hannah Campbell at the Balsams. Fractional ownership of just a beautiful resort in the White Mountains. I just can't wait to hear you in her chat. But you get to control the message. And it's not that you're trying to be deceptive. You're not. It's just you can't tell your story in 30 or 60 seconds on a radio or TV ad. I'm not knocking the industry, but it's hard to convey the excitement of what you do. Maybe your sports franchise, your leisure, your resort, your whatever it may be. You're not restricted in terms of time to tell your story.
Yeah.
And it's evergreen.
Yeah. With podcasting, you're able to deliver a heartfelt message where your commercials are really going to be reminders. Hey, don't forget about me. Here I am. So I love podcasting. I love what video does for a business. I love doing video marketing for a company. You have your conversion videos. That's to convert traffic to your website. Mm-hmm. You have your product or service videos that allows you to really explain what you do. And then you have, these quick videos, like less than 10 seconds, that just kind of gets in front of your customers to remind them. And then, of course, you have the About Us videos that really explains your story. So you have the power of video, you have the power of podcasting, and we just really like to identify where that client is trying to go, how they're trying to pivot post-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, and really what's their demographic and how we can get them where they want to be. We like being that vehicle.
Yeah, Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and again, Sirius XM 211. It's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins, and we want to, again, myhealth-quotes.com and Elevated Media ESQ.com. All right, we're heading down the home stretch of this segment, and then we're going to close strong here. Baseball teams, Red Sox, Yankees, 60-game season. Better than nothing? Quick comment on that, but sports, even a fractional season, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the players are just like not into it. So we might have to just turn the page. Yeah. And that's okay. Everybody has had to adjust with the COVID-19. We're really not, they're not different. So it is what it is. I know that is so cliche. I hate that. And saying that said, if I say that, I apologize in advance.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. The dynamics, I just don't know how excited people are going to be able to get for sports. I'm excited for it, but then again, I live, breathe, and eat sports. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
We only got a minute. What was the reaction in New England when Cam Newton? Sunday night, it was weird. It was like it was a weird time. 30 seconds. What was it like when that news broke real quick?
I was dog tired. It came across as a news alert, and I perked up. I couldn't sleep that night. Very excited. You've got the people that, the people that hate the Patriots for, whatever. And then you have the rabid fans like I am, and then you have everything in between. I think the overall feeling is we're excited. I think the Patriots fans are excited. I think Belichick must be excited. Josh McDaniels, I think he's going to be really excited. So let's hope. Football, let's hope the season goes off and we have a great season.
We've seen this. We've seen this story before. We saw it with Corey Dillon, Randy Moss. Marcia said Sunday night, "This is Randy Moss 2.0," and I thought, man, I can't believe she said that. But if it's Randy Moss 2.0, do you realize Randy Moss had a league record 21 touchdowns in that first year with the New England Patriots? We come back. myhealth-quotes.com. It's Elevating with Marcia Hawkins on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
you have a story to share? Your story. Lifetime Private Autobiography Services can help. We will interview you by video or phone to get your memories in your words using your pictures. Our staff of talented writers will then recreate your story into a beautifully handcrafted book. You'll receive 10 individual copies for friends and family to enjoy for generations to come. Visit privateautobiography.com to schedule a free consultation. Mention this ad for a bonus audio recording from your personal interviews. To get started, visit privateautobiography.com or call 844-921-2802. That's 844-921-2802. Remember and be remembered with this gift of a lifetime.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about elite rehab placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more.
800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hello and welcome back to the Ronnie Deutsch Tax Program. On the line is Paul from California. Hi, Paul. What's your tax problem today?
Hi, Ronnie. Love your show. Listen, I've got a big problem. You see, my paycheck was garnished last week, and I'm only getting half the normal amount. To make matters worse, the IRS froze my bank account. Listen, I'm embarrassed and scared. I need some help.
Listen, Paul, you don't need to feel embarrassed. You just need some tax help. And the great news is the IRS has some unbelievable programs that can eliminate your tax debt so you don't have to worry about having your paycheck garnished or your bank levied. Doesn't that sound great?
It sure does, Ronnie.
Then do yourself a huge favor and get a free consultation right now and tell them the tax lady sent you.
855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. That's 855-715-5721.
Elevated with Marcia Hawkins, Sports Byline Broadcast Network, Sirius XM 211. It's the Dan Patrick station. And we want to tell you, again, myhealth-coach.com and then elevatedmediaesq.com. All right, Marcia, here's your 2-minute warning, as they say in the NFL. And you did guarantee us last week there will be an NFL and college football season. You want to reaffirm that?
Yeah, I do. But I think it's going to be different. We just have to adjust. So I'm fine with whatever we have. I'm excited, and we'll have to see what happens. So, yeah, I do a lot. I have elevatedmediaesq.com. Everything I do is related to lifestyle and business services. I'm really, my passion is helping people, whether it be with marketing or advertising their business, finding solutions for themselves and their families. And also, I love working with people who are really trying to overcome challenges in their life. That's probably where I really, really enjoy spending my time.
I enjoy working with people like Mario. Let's give Mario a shout out. Huh? Your producer
yeah.
In San Francisco. Do we love Mario or what?
We do. We love Mario. He puts up with us every week. And yeah, shout out to Mario. Thank you for helping us every week.
All right. Next week, for sure, it'll be Hannah Campbell from the Balsams and just beautiful, beautiful, the White Mountains of New Hampshire. We look forward to it. And we got some real exciting stuff coming on later on in the month of July. So we look forward to that. All right. So listen, you have a happy 4th.
And you as well, Mario, and everyone at Sports Byline and SiriusXM Channel 211. We wish everyone a happy 4th of July. And of course, safe travels, no drinking and driving, and stay safe.
Indeed. All right. This show, again, Elevating with Marcia Hawkins is presented by myhealth-quotes.com. myhealth-coach.com. Life insurance, health insurance, she is the master. Elevated Media, ESQ.com. For Marcia, Elevating with Marcia Hawkins on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
Can't get enough of your team? SB Nation's 300-team regional and sports-centric communities are built just for you. Join your fellow fans at SBNation.com for all the best sports news, conversation, and opinion. SBNation.com. Your team, your community.